My Sibling, the Starkeeper, Mayhem on the Moon, by Romana Brook. Grampy Ogg, you know how you built the moon to give the Starkeepers a place to stay? Well, can you take me to see my sister Gwen up there someday? If only it were as simple as rocket science Merlin and we could whiz up there at 10,000 miles an hour. But sadly, some things are beyond even my great power. We all miss your sister since she became a Starkeeper, Clippity-Clock added as his face turned bleaker. Merlin looked down and kicked the ground. I didn't say it was impossible. So turn that frown around. Wizzardy Ogg scooped some petals from the forest floor, placing them in Merlin's hand. Now listen carefully. It's important you understand. Make haste and make no mistake. Follow the twisting stream until it's a lake. Scatter these petals for Gwen, make your wish known, and prepare to have your tiny mind blown. Wizzardy Ogg smiled and winked as he hurried Merlin along, turning away and whistling an innocent song. Make sure you're home in time for tea. We're having stew made with seaweed and pea. Merlin was unimpressed with the fist full of flowers. He ventured on for minutes, though it seemed like hours. Doing as instructed, he followed the trickling stream. The forest got thick and the day got dark. As the trees blocked out the sun's gleam, the stream got bigger and Merlin knew the lake he must be nearing. He bravely went on and through the bushes emerged into a clearing. Sure enough, there was the lake. Merlin beamed as his hopes heightened, but peering into the murky water he felt uneasy and frightened. He scattered the petals to the wind and yelled with a brave boom. I want to see my sister Gwen, whose home is on the moon. Merlin stood hopeful for a moment, but nothing occurred. Disappointed, he turned to leave, but then something stirred. The wind blew stronger and the water raged. What's happening, Merlin wondered, shocked and amazed.
Who threw rubbish into my home?
Merlin replied nervously, sorry, I guess that was me.
Oh, I see. And who might you be?
Merlin's the name, magic's the game. Merlin squinted, stepped closer, and couldn't believe his eyes. A mermaid he saw to his surprise. Wow, you're a fish girl, Merlin exclaimed.
I prefer to be called Tina,
the mermaid explained. Sorry, Merlin replied. I'm being awfully rude. Nice to meet you, Tina, and I'm sorry to intrude.
Well, I suppose that's okay. What do you want anyway? I heard you shout something about Gwen. So tell me, Magic Merlin, what's that all about then?
Well, Gwen is my little sister. She's a Starkeeper who lives on the moon. My grandpa, Wizzardy Ogg, told me that you were—
Wait, you're Wizzardy Ogg's grandson. Well, in that case, I definitely won't help. That old man and his camel keep eating my kelp.
Sorry about that. I'll tell them not to do it anymore. Please help me if you can, I implore. Okay, I suppose that's a deal. But you'd better keep your word or I'll make you my meal. I haven't shared all my powers with that old man and his camel. Unlike me, they can't do interdimensional travel. Merlin's jaw dropped to the floor as the water cleared a path for him to take, and a portal was revealed on the bed of the lake. Step through Magic Merlin. Trust in me, and your next step will be on the sea of tranquility. You promise this isn't pretend. My little sister is at the other end. You have my word, my magical friend. Merlin nervously stepped into the portal with eyes tightly closed, the water around him lapping at his toes. The wind gently blew, then the whooshing stopped, and there Merlin stood on dry moon rocks in his dripping wet shoes and socks. Well, I didn't think the moon was like this. I can see flowers, bees, and what's more, I can breathe. Looking up from Earth, Merlin, everything isn't as it seems. The moon is the place of dreams. Gwen! Merlin yelled as he gave his sister a warm embrace, little tears of joy streaming down his face. I have so much to tell you, Gwen. There's so much you've missed. You really aren't going to believe any of this. Oh, Merlin, I'm always there with you wherever you may be, because we are connected, you and me. Whenever you're having an adventure or learning something new, I am always there with you in all that you do. The siblings played for a while, jumping on the moon. Look at me, Gwen. I'm light as a balloon. Hurry, Merlin, there's lots more to see. There's more to the moon than leaping over the sea of tranquility. Gwen slid open a trapdoor. Come on, big bro, I'll give you a tour. Feast your peepers. This is the home of the Starkeepers. Merlin followed Gwen down the ladder in the crater, then along a path to a rickety elevator. I had no idea the moon was hollow. Merlin gasped. That's Grampy Ogg, cutting corners. Gwen laughed. Down and down went the elevator, descending to depths greater and greater. To let more Starkeepers on board, the elevator stopped halfway. Guys, this is my big brother Merlin. He's visiting just for the day. Merlin, this is Indy, Chloe, Milo, Amanda, and Renee. Nice to meet you, Merlin, they all said together. On we go. Renee pulled the lever. They reached the ground with a bumping sound, and off they leapt with a skip and a bound. Well, this is Moon HQ, Merlin. What do you think? Pretty snazzy, but what's that stink? Georgia answered. That'll be the cheese. It's rock on top, but cheese underground. How strange. So what's that ringing sound? That's the alarm to say that more new stars are on their way. It's our job here to give them a home and make sure that they are not alone. More cracks appearing. This place is falling to pieces, said Renee. Who built this moon anyway? It's supposed to have a 5 billion year warranty, Indy pointed out angrily. Actually, it was our grandpa, Merlin said with an embarrassed look, steadying himself as the whole moon shook. I'm sure he could fix it in no time at all. We just have to give him a call. Do you have any phones in this place? Chloe replied. Afraid not. No reception in space. Of course not. Silly me. Merlin looked for a moment thoughtfully. He went in his pocket to pull out his wand. Oh no, I must have lost it in that murky pond. Rory, who had been quietly manning HQ until now, suddenly yelled, I know how. Merlin, there's no need to fret. We're Starkeepers, don't forget. Everything will be fine. We can send your grandpa a star sign, Amanda suggested. Let's have some fun. We can pull these levers and move the sun. Milo added, if we put it behind the moon, help will be sure to come, and very soon. What a great idea. Grampy Ogg is very clever. He will know something is wrong, and in no time at all will be right along. The Starkeepers turned every lever, crank, and cog to send their star sign to Wizzardy Ogg. What's this? Dark already? Where's that grandson of mine? I can't believe we both dozed off. It must be well past dinner time. Wake up, Clippity-Clock. We'll have to go look. Wizzardy sighed, grabbing his coat from the hook. Remembering their last encounter, Clippity-Clock replied, but that means going to see Tina, and since stealing her kelp, she's even meaner.
She'll never let us two pass by. There's no point to even try.
Clippity-Clock, no need for alarm. I'll just turn on that old Wizzardy charm. As they approached the lake, to their surprise, Tina was waiting with angry eyes. Hello, my dear Coventina. And might I say how particularly green you're looking on this fine night.
Tighten your specs, old man. It's not night, the sun's still up, it's just out of sight. Something strange is happening all right, and I bet my fins you're to blame somehow. So get through this portal and fix it right now.
Wizzardy Ogg whispered. Told you, my charm would work a treat, as they walked through the mud with squelchy feet. As they reached the portal, Tina let the water walls come cascading down, washing them both through head first, and onto the moon they clumsily burst. Getting up and wringing out his hat, Wizzardy Ogg said, Well, how do you like that? I'm glad you turned on that Wizzardy charm, or we might have really come to some harm. Clippity said, shaking his head with a flip and a flop, a drip and a drop, frantically drying his wet purple mop. Meanwhile, back underground, there was a moon-quaking shaking and thunderous sound. The Starkeeper kids started to panic, dodging pieces of cheese the size of Titanic. Help isn't coming. The star sign didn't work. Don't be so sure, Merlin said with a smirk. They all looked up, and there was Clippity-Clock and Wizzardy Ogg descending in the elevator through the thick cloud of smog. It's Grampy Ogg. I knew you'd come. Gwen and the Starkeepers moved the sun. Isn't that amazing, Grampy Ogg, did you see? Never mind all that. You're late for tea. We have a bit of a situation here. But Gwen's plea fell on Grampy Ogg's deaf ear. Gwen? Hello, lovely to see you, my dear. Please help Grampy Ogg, or it will be too late, I fear. Right, let's get this mess sorted out. I'm going to need everyone to join in with this spell and shout.
Wizzardy we, reverse history, make this moon as new as can be, clean up today, without delay, and home for tea soon we can be.
Well, with that, cheese boulders lifted off the ground and flew back into their places. All around, the cracks closed shut and the smog cleared. The moon floors sparkled and the holes disappeared. The alarms stopped and the ceilings gleamed. The moon was shiny and new, it seemed. Thank you so much, Mr. Ogg and Mr. Clock, the Starkeepers said with glee. Hooray for Wizzardy Ogg. You must stay for tea. Wizzardy Ogg blushed. Well, I have got that kelp stew back home on the stove. Nonsense, Grampy Ogg. You will stay. Well, I can't say no to you, Gwen. I suppose it will keep till another day. The gang had a celebration, with a feast fit for kings, merry music and fun. Clippity-clock breakdancing the night away, until the day was done. At the end of the night, when it came to goodbye, it dawned on Merlin it was time to leave, and he started to cry. Please, Gwen, can't you come too? I don't want to go home again without you. Merlin, you know I can't leave the moon. I will see you again, but not too soon. I have my job here, and you have yours back home. Besides, it's not like I'm alone. Standing back at the portal, the magic family parted once more, waving by as they stepped through the portal door. Next thing they knew, they were back by the lake with the forest in sight, and home they strolled in the moonlit night. Later that night, Merlin snuck through the house. Clippity-clock asked him, "Where are you off to?" "Shh. There's just one more thing I really need to do." 2 bowls of kelp stew in his hand, waiting by the lake shore, Merlin did stand. He called Tina's name, and there she did appear. "Hi, Tina, I'm so glad you're still here. I brought you some kelp stew. It's just to say a little thank you." Shocked by the gesture, Tina blushed red. "Well, that's very kind of you, Merlin," she said. They both sipped some of Grampy Ogg's stew but spat it out fast. "Well, it's the thought that counts, I suppose," Merlin laughed.